Becoming the mentally toughest version of yourself isn't about pushing harder. It's about following the right system. In studying Eastern philosophy and ancient samurai texts, a fascinating pattern emerges. A four-stage process the Japanese used to turn ordinary people into warriors who could face death without fear. By the end of this guide, you will understand exactly how to build that same mental strength. I call this path Shugyō-Do, and it begins with a truth that might shock you. Part 1. Shugyo, rigorous training. The first principle is this: life itself is your dojo. The Japanese understood this through Shugyo, a form of rigorous training that transforms how you see struggle forever. Shugyo isn't just practice, it's total immersion in difficulty. Consider the Buddhist monks who sit under freezing waterfalls for hours in winter. Ice crystallizes on their skin and their bodies shake violently, yet they remain completely still, finding peace inside the chaos. Why? An ancient Zen proverb explains, the obstacle is the path. Not that the obstacle blocks your path, the obstacle is the path. That freezing water isn't something to simply endure. It's the very thing that forges an unbreakable mind. When you stop running from discomfort, your mind stops seeing difficulty as an enemy. It becomes neutral, just another experience. This is why a trained monk can sit in freezing water as calmly as you sit on your couch. Now look at modern life. We have engineered out every discomfort. Too hot, air conditioning, bored, infinite entertainment, hungry, food delivery in 20 minutes. Every convenience makes us weaker. Your tolerance for difficulty shrinks until small challenges feel impossible. The samurai knew this danger. In the Hagakure, Yamamoto Tsunetomo wrote, "The way of the samurai is found in death." He meant the death of your weak self, the part that chooses comfort, the part that quits when things get hard. Only by facing your limits do you transcend them. When samurai trained, they didn't stop when they were tired, they stopped when they were transformed. Miyamoto Musashi, the victor of 60 duels, spent hours daily practicing calligraphy. Why? Because perfect brushstrokes require the same discipline as perfect sword strikes. One shaky movement ruins everything. By mastering the brush, he mastered his mind. The sword became an extension of that mastery. This is Shugyo, taking something difficult and using it to forge mental steel. How to create your own Shugyo. 1. Identify what you avoid. Difficult conversations, physical discomfort, being alone with your thoughts. Whatever you run from becomes your training ground. 2. Commit to daily practice for 100 days. Real transformation takes time. Pick something specific. If you avoid confrontation, have one difficult conversation daily. If you fear discomfort, take cold showers. If you can't focus, sit in silence for 20 minutes. 3. No negotiation. When your alarm goes off, you don't think, you do. This isn't about motivation. It's about becoming someone who does hard things automatically. This path isn't for everyone. It's for those who are sick of being weak. But here's the problem. Shugyo without direction is just suffering. The monks didn't train randomly. They followed a path that gave their training meaning. This is where Budō enters, the martial way that transforms discipline into a life philosophy. Part 2, Budō, the martial way. Budō means the martial way, but forget what you think you know about martial arts. This isn't about fighting. It's about turning your entire life into a discipline. Gichin Funakoshi, the founder of modern karate, made this clear. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not victory, but the perfection of character. Read that again. Not victory, character. The samurai discovered something profound. The principles that make you deadly in combat also make you unstoppable in life. Every moment becomes training. Every interaction tests your discipline. That annoying coworker? Training. That temptation to quit? Training. Life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes your practice. The samurai lived this way. They turned daily routines into rituals of discipline. How they woke up, how they ate breakfast, even how they entered a room. Not because they were obsessed with rules, but because they understood that how you do anything is how you do everything. They had already practiced discipline in 10,000 small moments, so they could face death without flinching. Death was just another test. Yamamoto Tsunetomo captured this perfectly. Matters of great concern should be treated lightly. Matters of small concern should be treated seriously. It sounds backward, but he's revealing the secret of mental toughness. When you treat small things with immense discipline, big things lose their power over you. If you can't handle morning traffic without losing your temper, how will you handle a real crisis? The small moments are rehearsals for the big ones. Stop seeing challenges as interruptions to your life. They are your life. They aren't obstacles to your growth. They are the method of your growth. Your work becomes your dojo. Your struggles become your sensei. There is a Japanese proverb, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Everyone knows this quote, but almost nobody understands it. How do you get up more times than you fall? Because the 8th time is tomorrow morning. You get up before life even has a chance to knock you down. You start each day already standing, already practicing, already in Budō. But there's a danger. You can practice in your comfortable dojo forever. Real warriors knew they needed to test themselves against the unknown. They called it Musha Shugyo. Part 3, Musha Shugyo, the warrior's pilgrimage. This is where comfortable practice meets uncomfortable reality, where you discover if your training is real or just a theory. In feudal Japan, a samurai would embark on Musha Shugyo, abandoning his home, his master, and his security to wander the country seeking challenges. No safety net, no backup plan, just his skills against the world. Miyamoto Musashi lived this completely. For decades, he wandered Japan, sleeping in caves, eating what he could find, and facing starvation and the freezing cold. The duels weren't the real training, surviving the journey was. As Musashi wrote, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. When you're comfortable, you see one way forward. When you're desperate and pushed to your limits, you suddenly see paths everywhere." Musha Shugyo forces you to find paths you never knew existed. Our modern lives are bubbles of safety. Our comfort zone becomes a prison, and we become prisoners who love our cage. But you don't need to wander feudal Japan to undertake this pilgrimage. You need your own Everest, something that pulls you from safety into growth. Maybe it's starting that business with no guarantee of success, moving to a new country, or having the conversation you've avoided for years. The specifics don't matter. The leaving matters. Here's the brutal truth. Most who started Musha Shugyo never returned, not because they died, but because they discovered they were frauds. Their dojo skills meant nothing in real combat. Their mental toughness crumbled under real pressure. The Bushido code states, a samurai's word is his bond, but the most important promises are the ones you make to yourself. When you say you'll do something hard, and then back down, you break that bond. Musha Shugyo tests this bond. You can't fake it anymore. Either you honor your word to yourself, or you discover you've been lying all along. But surviving the pilgrimage is just preparation. The real transformation comes through the 3 stages of mastery, what the Japanese call Shuhari. Part 4, Shuhari, the 3 stages of mastery. This is the path from student to master. Every Japanese master followed these stages, not by choice, but by necessity. 1. Shu, protect and obey. In this first stage, you copy the masters exactly. No creativity, no personal touch, just perfect imitation of proven methods. A Buddhist proverb states, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But this really means the student becomes ready by emptying themselves of ego. Modern people hate this. We want to innovate immediately. But you can't break rules you haven't mastered. You can't transcend basics you don't own completely. In Shu, mental toughness means accepting you know nothing and repeating the basics until they are automatic. 2. Ha, break and detach. Once the foundation is solid, you earn the right to question it. In Ha, you begin to understand the principles behind the techniques. This is where personal style emerges. As the poet Matsuo Basho wrote, do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise, seek what they sought. In Shu, you follow their footsteps. In Ha, you understand why they took that path, and you can now find your own. 3. Re, leave and transcend. This is where technique disappears. Thinking stops and being begins. You no longer practice mental toughness, you are mental toughness. Musashi reached Re in his final years, writing, in strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close and to take a distanced view of close things. He's describing a mind that has transcended normal perception. A master carpenter doesn't think about using his tools, his hands just know. You don't choose to be mentally tough, it chooses you. True masters seem supernatural because they aren't trying anymore. They have become what they practiced. This 4-stage path, Shugyo, Budō, Musha Shugyo, and Shuhari, is a life's work, not a 30-day challenge. It is a complete transformation that takes years. But it starts with one decision today. Choose your first Shugyo. Something you avoid, something that scares you. Commit to facing it daily for 100 days. No negotiation, no excuses, just practice. The activity itself doesn't matter, the commitment does. Because as the samurai maxim states, tomorrow's battle is won during today's practice. Your future challenges, crises, and breaking points are decided right now by whether you choose comfort or growth. The monks under the waterfall aren't preparing for waterfalls, they're preparing for life. You're not training for cold showers, you're training for everything that will ever try to break you. Start today. Not tomorrow, not Monday. Today. Because the person who starts today has already beaten the person who promises to start tomorrow. You don't need to be motivated. You only need to begin. The path will teach you everything else. This is Shugyō-Do. Your evolution starts now.